Hollywood has always worshipped beauty, but the conversation usually centers on glamorous actresses and their headline-making makeovers. What most people don't realize is that for decades, some of the biggest male stars have also slipped quietly under the surgeon's knife, backed by the very studios that built their images. While women endure relentless tabloid scrutiny, men have enjoyed a curious cultural blind spot, their enhancements often hidden in plain sight. From discreet hair transplants and subtle dental perfection to barely noticeable facial refinements, these touch-ups reveal how the definition of masculinity has evolved on screen. In the 1940s and 50s, the goal was to preserve a natural, rugged charm. By the 1980s, action heroes were chasing a polished, ageless look. And today, under the relentless gaze of social media, some leading men are opting for bolder, more dramatic changes. Now, we're pulling back the curtain to expose 15 of the most jaw-dropping male celebrity transformations in Hollywood history, spanning from Golden Age legends to the most talked-about modern A-listers. Kenny Rogers' journey with cosmetic surgery is one of the most candid and unforgettable stories in entertainment. The country music legend first stepped into the world of aesthetic enhancements in the early 1990s, when he decided to address his drooping eyelids as he neared his 50s. While many stars chose to dodge the topic, Rogers was refreshingly upfront. In a 2006 interview, he admitted with trademark honesty, "I did have quite a bit of plastic surgery. I had my eyes done and a facelift," adding that, at first, he was happy with the results. But as time went on, more work led to a noticeably tighter look, one he would later wish he hadn't pursued. By 2012, he joked, "It makes me look like I'm surprised all the time." His openness was groundbreaking, especially for a male celebrity, shattering the silence around men and cosmetic procedures. Rogers didn't just talk about the wins, he talked about the missteps, too. In his autobiography, he reflected that surgery can be unpredictable, and the best thing you can do is accept what's done and keep moving forward. By speaking so openly, Kenny Rogers not only changed the conversation about cosmetic surgery for men, he helped dismantle the stigma, proving that honesty and self-acceptance can be just as legendary as the music you leave behind. Barry Manilow's changing appearance over the decades has become one of the most recognizable examples of male cosmetic evolution in show business. While many stars deny or deflect such rumors, Manilow has occasionally admitted to certain procedures, though he's kept other details shrouded in playful mystery. His transformation likely began in the mid-1980s, when he was in his 40s. Subtle refinements, a slight reshaping of the nose, a soft adjustment to the jawline, polished his features without erasing the warm, familiar face his fans adored. By the 90s, more noticeable changes emerged, possibly including a forehead lift and a facelift. This was the dawn of a new era for male cosmetic surgery, still taboo, but quietly gaining ground. Through the 2000s and 2010s, his evolving look became a regular subject of media chatter. Procedures like facelifts and eyelid surgeries seem to lend him a smoother, more sculpted appearance. Manilow himself has often joked about some of these enhancements but rarely dives into specifics. Perhaps, as a musician rather than a film star, he felt freer to balance personal comfort with public perception. In many ways, his journey mirrors a cultural shift, where male plastic surgery has moved from whispered speculation to open conversation. Today, Barry Manilow's visual evolution isn't viewed as scandal but as another layer of the legend, woven seamlessly into the image of a man whose career has always been about reinvention. Carrot Top Thompson's transformation is one of the most talked about male makeovers in modern entertainment. In the 1990s, he was the wild-haired comic with a wiry frame, instantly recognizable by those untamed fiery red curls and his offbeat humor. But around the year 2000, fans began to notice something different. His once slim build was giving way to a noticeably bulked-up physique, sparking whispers about intense weight training, and even speculation about enhancement substances. By the mid-2000s, it wasn't just his body turning heads. His face, too, seemed to tell a new story. Side-by-side shots from his 1996 appearance on The Tonight Show versus 2006 revealed striking changes: tighter skin around the eyes and forehead, more pronounced cheekbones, and an overall sharper facial structure. Cosmetic experts suggested possible brow lifts, blepharoplasty, and cheek augmentation. Still, in classic Carrot Top style, he laughed off the rumors, quipping that he hadn't gone under the knife, he'd just hired a really bad makeup artist. Dr. Richard Fleming, a renowned cosmetic surgeon, wasn't so convinced, noting that the changes likely came from multiple procedures. Yet, through it all, Carrot Top never lost his signature look. He just evolved it. His metamorphosis defied the unspoken rules of how male celebrities are supposed to age, challenging outdated gender norms around appearance. Over time, the public reaction shifted. What once drew mockery began to earn curiosity, even respect, as society's view on men and cosmetic treatments slowly changed. Today, Carrot Top stands as a bold reminder that in a world where every detail is scrutinized, reinvention is not just for women, and confidence can come in many forms. Cary Grant's flawless Hollywood image wasn't just a stroke of luck, it was the result of a masterful reinvention, polished over decades and quietly refined by discreet cosmetic touch-ups. Long before he became the silver screen's ultimate gentleman, he was Archibald Leach, a lanky young man from England with charm in the making. His transformation began in the early 1930s, when Paramount Studios arranged for extensive dental work in 1932, reshaping and replacing teeth to perfect the dazzling smile that would one day melt audiences worldwide. Even in his 50s, Grant could still hold his own opposite leading ladies half his age, his magnetism untouched by time. Around 1957, whispers began of a subtle upper eyelid lift, blepharoplasty, that erased the look of fatigue and restored his trademark vitality. Alfred Hitchcock, who directed him in some of his most iconic roles, once hinted at these changes, noting how Grant seemed remarkably refreshed in later films, though he adhered to Hollywood's unspoken code, never speak openly of a man's cosmetic enhancements. The work was meticulous, so understated that it preserved every nuance of Grant's expressions, every ounce of his charisma. Fans attributed his ageless appeal to good genes and a virtuous lifestyle, never suspecting the quiet maintenance behind the curtain. Katharine Hepburn, a close friend, once compared his self-care to tuning a fine sports car, a nod to his dedication without exposing his secrets. As dermatologist Dr. Jessica Wu later observed, Grant's philosophy was never to reinvent himself beyond recognition, but to enhance what was already there, a pioneering approach to male aesthetics that countless leading men still follow today. His legacy wasn't just about how he looked on screen, but how he mastered the art of staying timeless. Kirk Douglas, the indomitable star of Spartacus and Paths of Glory, didn't just fight battles on screen. He waged a quiet war against time itself, armed not with swords, but with scalpels and sutures. While many Hollywood men of his era kept such matters cloaked in secrecy, Douglas was different. By the mid-1970s, just shy of 60, he began exploring cosmetic enhancements, starting with a subtle facelift that refined his jawline and neck without stealing the expressive fire from his performances. What truly set him apart was his candor. In a 1988 interview, he shrugged off the taboo with a wry smile. "Everyone does it. I'm just more upfront about it than most." Over the next 2 decades, Douglas returned to the operating table for additional facelifts, brow lifts, and eyelid surgeries, each one chasing the Hollywood ideal while slowly shaping the windswept, taut look that marked his later years. His son, Michael Douglas, once hinted that his father was never afraid to embrace the latest tools to keep his edge in a business obsessed with youth. And as plastic surgery techniques evolved, so did Kirk's choices, reflecting both the artistry and the eventual limits of long-term enhancements. Dr. Stephen Houghlin, a plastic surgeon familiar with Douglas's journey, noted that the early work was masterfully discreet, but later procedures became more visible, a testament to the double-edged nature of chasing eternal youth. In being so open about his decisions, Kirk Douglas broke an unspoken code, pulling back the curtain on male vanity in Hollywood and paving the way for future generations of actors to own their choices without shame. Mickey Rourke's journey from smoldering 1980s heartthrob to his dramatically altered appearance is one of Hollywood's most talked about transformations. In the early days, he was magnetic, the kind of leading man whose rugged charm lit up films like Diner, 1982, and 9½ Weeks, 1986. But in the early 1990s, Rourke took an unexpected detour, trading movie sets for the boxing ring. Between 1991 and 1994, he suffered brutal injuries, a shattered nose, a broken cheekbone, and other facial damage that required multiple reconstructive surgeries. What began as medical necessity soon became a series of cosmetic procedures, each one leaving its mark. By the late 90s, he sought facelifts and other enhancements to counter the toll of aging and the ring, but he later admitted he had chosen the wrong surgeon. The results only pushed his transformation further, reshaping not just his face, but the way the world saw him. By the 2000s, with unforgettable performances in Sin City, 2005, and The Wrestler, 2008, Rourke's new look had become inseparable from his identity, a living testament to the physical and emotional battles he'd endured. Unlike many in Hollywood, he spoke openly about it. As he once said, "My face tells a story. Not always a pretty one, but it's honest." His is a tale of beauty, brutality, and the price of chasing passion, both in the ring and on the screen. Robert Redford's sun-kissed good looks and effortless charm made him one of Hollywood's most magnetic leading men through the 1970s and 80s. To the world, he was the picture of all-American wholesomeness. But behind that timeless image was a masterclass in subtle self-maintenance, a carefully orchestrated balance of nature and a little quiet help from science. While many celebrities flatly deny any cosmetic work, Redford has always played it cool. He's never confirmed the rumors, but he's never rushed to squash them either. In a 2007 interview with The Telegraph, when asked about his remarkably youthful appearance, he simply said, "I think a person has the right to do whatever they want. I don't have any problem with it either way." It was the kind of diplomatic answer that kept the mystery alive, and insiders say that's exactly how he wanted it. By the mid-1980s, as he edged toward 50, Redford reportedly began making small, precise adjustments, starting with treatments to reduce puffiness under his eyes that softened his famously piercing gaze. Makeup artist Leonard Engelman, who worked with him on several films, once hinted, "Bob always knew how the camera saw him. He understood his angles better than most directors, and he knew exactly what to tweak." In the early 90s, around the time he directed A River Runs Through It, his jawline appeared subtly sharper, leading experts to suspect a modest lower facelift. The results were seamless, no frozen expressions, no obvious signs, just a quiet refresh. Dermatologist Dr. Patricia Wexler, who has never treated him but has studied his aging over the years, once noted that Redford's approach showed the power of steady, moderate upkeep. Instead of waiting for drastic changes, he made small refinements every few years, avoiding the overdone look so common in Hollywood. As his career evolved from actor to director to Sundance Institute founder, Redford seemed to shed the pressure of eternal youth. By his 70s and 80s, he let time leave its mark, the sunspots, the weathered lines, but still carried the spark of the golden boy he once was. In a 2018 review of The Old Man and the Gun, critic Richard Roper observed, "Redford has finally embraced his age, or at least a version of it. There's real grace in how he looks now. You still see the heartthrob, but also the life he's lived." Today, Robert Redford's measured, almost invisible evolution has become a blueprint for aging in the public eye, a gold standard for how to preserve identity, charm, and character without crossing into artificiality. Simon Cowell's transformation, from the brash, sharp-tongued American Idol judge to his polished, almost unrecognizable present-day look, remains one of the most talked-about male cosmetic journeys in pop culture. In the early days, Cowell gave off the air of a man untouched by Hollywood vanity. His style was simple, his appearance natural, as if image was the least of his concerns. But by 2008, subtle signs began to emerge: slightly smoother skin, a faint tightness around the eyes, hints of Botox or similar treatments. That same year, in true Cowell fashion, he casually admitted to using Botox, even quipping, "Every guy I know has had it now." It was a turning point, breaking the silence around male celebrities and cosmetic enhancements. As he entered his 50s, his evolving face drew even more attention. Experts speculated about eyelid surgery, facelifts, and neck-tightening procedures. Then, in 2017, a serious health scare changed everything. Cowell overhauled his lifestyle, cutting out red meat, ditching alcohol, and his appearance shifted again. By 2019, he was speaking more openly, revealing he'd undergone a silhouette soft lift and had traded heavy Botox and fillers for a focus on clear, healthy skin. But by 2022, fans grew concerned. His dramatically altered look sparked headlines, with many wondering if he had gone too far. Cowell himself admitted as much, confessing that he hardly recognized his own reflection and had since pulled back on treatments. Today, his story stands as more than a tale of vanity. It's a reflection of the growing normalization of cosmetic procedures for men, the unrelenting pressure to stay youthful in the public eye, and the fine line between enhancement and excess. Thanks for watching Exposed Hollywood. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss our latest deep dives into the untold stories of the stars. Until next time, stay tuned.